Hello. Hello. It's nice to see you. Hello. It's nice to see you. Hello. It's nice to see you. Welcome back, or welcome to. It's nice to be here in this way. So much so that Ollie is knocking at the door to come be with us also. Well, hello. Welcome back. Okay. I am just like buzzing, if you cannot tell, with so much energy and excitement to film this video. I also want to preface that and say that ADHD has also gotten in the way of filming this video. I opened up the can of worms on my Instagram and the worms aren't going back in, so I thought I would make this video. And if you can't tell by the title, this video is about, could I possibly have ADHD? Alright, I'm gonna make a chaga latte. I think I'm gonna go iced. And then we're gonna get into it. Let's go make a latte. We did it. We made it. It's delicious. And now I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. Okay. So, for as long as I can remember, I have just struggled to motivate myself. And it's been at like an all-time high, especially this past week. Right now, I'm filming on a very new, brand new, exciting camera. This was a huge investment into myself, both monetarily and also in a mindset shift of saying I'm worth investing in. I can make large purchases that will benefit the craft and the things that I want to hone. I was so excited to get this camera, like beyond words excited. Because I've just been filming with my phone, which is great, but doesn't shoot as well as I'd like. The image quality isn't what I would want, and I felt very limited by it. But I got this camera, and it was so overwhelming. I had no idea how to use it. It was just so debilitating to begin that I just like kept putting it off, and I really wanted the next video, which is this video, to be filmed on it. So I just kept putting off filming this video. This has a point, so like just stick with me. I put off filming. And I was like, okay, I just gotta fucking watch a video and like learn how to use this thing and like figure it out. And if I fail, and like whatever. And that is all to say that is what I believe ADHD to be. That is my lived experience of one small little insight into what that looks like. So let's dive into that. A couple months ago, I guess a year ago maybe, I was talking to a friend and she was like, it sounds like you have ADHD. Have you looked into this? I was like, no, like there's no way. I'm not like hyperactive. But she recommended looking into Dr. Amen. And everything that I'm going to reference in this, I'm going to like add a link to these things below. She recommended, he has like the 7 types of ADD quiz. So I took it and it said I had ADD. And I was like in the midst of doing other things, like, you know, that's another telltale sign. And I didn't really like fully dive into it. I was like, great, that explains that I have issues. Like, I didn't need to know that. I knew that. But I started seeing a new therapist about 2 months ago, and part of the process is you have to do an intake. And at the end of the evaluation, she was like, you know, a lot of what you're describing is really similar to people who have ADHD, and because of like where I guess I ranked on like the scoring system she used, she didn't divulge all of this, but this is my interpretation, that she had to refer me to get an evaluation for ADHD. And after learning this, we were about to head on a road trip that was like a month long. So I listened to a bunch of podcasts on the trip and was like mind blown. Wow, I feel so seen and exposed for the truth of who I am in listening to a lot of these podcasts. But then we got back and I like put off doing the whole thing, and I was like, ADHD probably is the fact of why I didn't do anything about it. And then this past week, it was like so tough. Like, I have so many things that I want to do, so many things that I need to do, but really it's like I want to do these things. I have so many ideas and I want to bring them to life, and there's just like this invisible block that limits it from coming out and having the motivation to do it. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm making the appointment. This can't be that hard. So I went on. I emailed some people and were like, are you taking new clients? People that my therapist recommended. I got a call. It took literally in total 10 minutes. And I have an appointment scheduled for this end of this month. And the reason that I decided to like go this route of like finding a diagnosis is that I think knowledge is power, and that is a through line that I kept hearing in so many podcasts and people's individual experiences, is that having that knowledge and that formal diagnosis just gave them a lot of like compassion and understanding for themselves, and just better understanding themselves so they have better tools to take care of themselves. And I also believe that like, we can use diagnosis to like keep us really small if we stay in that place, and like then we become that. Like, our mindset is everything. But I think especially for women who are so underdiagnosed, misdiagnosed, or non-diagnosed, especially for ADHD, it's just really validating to be like, wow, my lived experience does not make me a failure. Which is like, I'm not a failure. And even though like there's things that limit me from doing things because I'm neurodivergent, doesn't make me a bad person, doesn't make people hate me. Like, all of the negative self-talk is not true. And now if I know the answer and have a diagnosis, it can give me the ability to find the tools that work with my brain, instead of constantly trying things and failing at them, like tools that are like, this will help you be productive, and then being like, I suck at this and I failed and it did not work. And realizing that those things are designed for people who are neurotypical, not neurodivergent. Our brains work differently. So let's dive into this. Some of the things that I've experienced in my life that I would have never assumed were part of having ADHD, but now as I learn more, I'm realizing like, maybe these were signs. I have a really hard time keeping my space clean. I love when it's clean. It makes my brain so happy, and in my brain, I'm like, I'm so organized. I have my shit together, like everything has a home. Because that's how I want to live, but the reality is that it's very hard for me to keep it that way. I have little messes everywhere. It drives me nuts, it drives Kyle nuts, it drives everyone nuts, And it's really frustrating because I love having people in my home and I love hosting them. And I feel like so much shame. And I'm like, well, okay, now we have to keep those doors closed because there's like a bomb in there. And then I don't want people to go in there. And Kyle's like, I don't want doors closed. And it's a whole thing. But it's really hard for me to like figure out how to keep things clean. Like I just have little piles everywhere. Like doing the laundry is so challenging. It takes me at least 2 weeks to get my laundry done, and then it's time to do laundry again. Because I wash it, and then it comes to my room, and then I'm like, I don't want to put it away. So then I avoid it, and then I look at that pile, and I move that pile, and then finally like 2 weeks later, I'm like, okay, I'm sick of this pile. But now like half those clothes are dirty, so I have to do laundry again. And it's like this vicious cycle. So that's one example. The other being, I can be really stubborn. If I'm doing something and I've like figured out how to do it, or even if I haven't, but I'm doing it, and someone's like, you could do that better. I'm like, screw you, like you do it, I'm done, I'm not gonna do this. And it could be something that I've like said I'm gonna do for a long time, and I'm finally doing it. And it's this like deep stubbornness that like I have to do it my way. And like I can't be corrected in that or like shown another way. Like the stubbornness is so real. Some other examples I will share are, I look at my to-do list. I see it and I'm like, wow, I got so much to do, like really should get going. I look at it and then I become so overwhelmed. My brain goes to all the things I have to do for each one of those tasks, and I'm like, it's too big. Each individual thing is like too big. So then I just like close it and don't do it, and then I get mad at myself because I didn't do it, and then I'm just like going, but like what if I did it? And it's like, and then I'm mad at myself because I'm not taking the steps, but I know I need to take the steps. So it's like this vicious cycle. And like, it's not that I'm not doing anything. Like even if I'm sitting down doing nothing, my brain is going a mile a minute of thinking of all the things I should be doing, yet I can't somehow muster the energy to do the thing. And I'm realizing that like, this is not normal. I've normalized this and also haven't had a lot of awareness. And I think as you start like opening Pandora's box around your health and mental health and healing, like all the things start to unravel and you start to see things a lot more clearly. So that's where I'm at. I am seeing things like very clearly for what they are. And it's so challenging. So yesterday I went on Instagram. I shared this. I was like, let me share like this vulnerable part of myself that I feel a lot of shame around. I feel so much guilt that I get nothing done, and like out it and let people know that like this is what I'm going through, and like maybe you're going through the same thing. And I was just like flooded with messages and DMs from people, and overwhelmed by how many people feel this way, have gone through this, are processing this, and how truly we are not alone. And it felt so important to share this video, to share like my experience and like what I'm doing. I'm figuring it out. I don't really have many answers, but I don't really have many answers at all, but I just think it's important to open these conversations and this be the beginning of many of these conversations, because having a neurodivergent brain is not a bad thing, yet our society is not designed, it doesn't celebrate them. So having spaces where you can be celebrated and seen in that is so important. So here we are. Here we are. So let's dive into a couple things that have like come up for me, things that I want to try, and things that I'm hoping will help me along the way, things that people have shared with me. So, one, I'm going to get my diagnosis or just find out more answers in 2 weeks and then go from there. Things that just generally I'm going to try are continuing to take an omega-3 supplement, which I love mine, and I will link it below. It's from a company called Orlo, and it's an omega, sustainable, incredible product. I will link that. So taking omega-3s is really good for those who have ADHD. Taking magnesium, which like I did not know that, and randomly was like, I should start taking magnesium to help with my digestion. And then I was reading it, and I had already ordered some from Moon Juice, so I'll link them as well. And I'm gonna start taking that, try it. I also have read that exercise is really important, so I don't really like doing like, you know, like a something on the screen. I don't know why I can't find the word for that. Like a workout video. That is what I'm looking for. Like this. So I'm gonna try to aim to get on like bigger hikes throughout the week, and that be like my big like cardio, because aerobic exercises specifically are really good. Also yoga is really good, and mindfulness practices, because it helps just like calm the nervous system. And I'm gonna try that. Just trying to get out on more hikes, go on more like strenuous things, more uphill, things that challenge me. And eating a plant-based whole foods diet, like really eliminating many, if not all, processed foods. So we're starting this on Monday, which I will take you along with. There is a 4-week plan to just help get your microbiome into better health by eating a whole plant-based diet, which I already do, but it's really about getting a lot more plants into your diet, which I need help with. And also one of the things that I struggle with, and I'm realizing is likely ADHD, is that I forget to eat. And then I gorge myself, or not gorge, I just like binge eat to make up for the fact that I like did not eat lunch. And so now that I have this realization, I'm gonna work on that in a different way than the way that I have, because it hasn't worked, with like willpower. So, fiber fuel. And then the last thing that I've had recommended is microdosing psilocybin, which I am also starting on Monday. So there's like a lot of change happening in my system, and I can feel it. It's like that like first day of school's about to hit, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my whole life's gonna change. It's gonna change. And I really hope that it does for the better, that I like can be productive, because in my core and in my knowing, I've always felt this feeling of like, I know I have so much potential. I know that I can be really successful and really abundant, and I can have a really juicy life of all the things I desire and want, and a life where like money is free flowing. And I just know there's a block that's prohibiting that from happening, and I'm hoping that learning this about myself and figuring out ways to help myself meeting me where I'm at will allow that to just finally open, because I'm like sick of being in this place. I've been here for 30 years, and it's just like, fucking sick of this. I am so sick of it. So that's where we're at. The other thing that someone highly recommended that I'm going to try is like rewarding yourself for completing tasks, because I'm very reward oriented, and making your to-do list, like filling it with things that are also things that you enjoy. So it's like, go for the hike, like really spell out those things, and the act of just like physically crossing things off of paper is super helpful. So for me, I love the idea of a planner. I'm like, I want to be a planner person. I have tried all of the planners. They don't work for me. I use it for like a week, and then like I give up on it. So I'm gonna try and get like a nice notepad that if I don't stick to it and then I go back to it, I don't feel guilty that I've like missed like the whole year. Which I think I'll just be like really compassionate to myself and understanding, meeting me where I'm at. Those are like the biggest things. I'm gonna take you along and it's just like new things are unfolding every day about myself and my mental health and my physical health, and I'm here for it. I'm ready for that, like getting to the other side and knowing that like the other side is really not the other side, that like that healing is not linear. It's really a cycle and it'll ebb and flow, but being more compassionate and understanding, because I now better understand who I am and what I need. And yeah. ADHD, neurodivergent. It's a gift in some ways, I'm sure. I'm not there yet, and many people say it is their superpower. So when I get there, my superpowers are gonna make me fly off into the distance and enjoy a slow, simple life, fully, without any judgments or bitterness towards myself or frustration that I don't get things done. So yes, let's do this. Let us learn about ourselves, get into a better headspace, and like eat some good food, fiber fuel it up, take some magic mushrooms, and find clarity and motivation to do the things that we want to do, not just the things that we need to do.